And next one goes like all yoga teachers have a same kind of training.
Okay. I think it's as varied as everybody having the same mind or the same body. If you think it's the same mind and the same body, then yes, it's the same training. But if you think everybody has a unique mind and a unique body, then it's a unique training. There's two ways to it, and you
Yeah,
can take
it's
it.
a,
Yes, like I said, you don't even need a certificate. Honestly, in yoga, yoga is a life practice. It is not. It cannot be bound by a few hours of training. I think a lot of years go into yoga. It's not. You cannot achieve it in 1 month of training, yoga teacher training that they say, of 30 days or 10 days or 500 hours. No, it is way beyond that. You have to invest a lot of your time and effort, and I would say you can invest money if you're looking for a proper training. It has to be in years, not in 1 month.
Right. So there is one more which is related to the mood. So myth goes like yoga will automatically makes you happy.
Well, I wouldn't say, see, there is something called the end of suffering, which Buddha said. I will call it definitely the end of suffering. And happiness is your true nature. And so there is a misconception about happiness. People look at it in a very superficial manner, but those are just imposters of happiness. If your happiness comes out of peace, then it is real happiness. You understand what I'm saying? It's not happiness. You can't say, okay,
yeah,
oh, laughing a lot, so she must be really happy. No, a person can be really deeply still and extremely happy within. It doesn't have to even show outside. So, which is coming from deep bliss from within
true.
the heart, from within the mind, and that is true happiness, which can never really go away, come what may. So there could be good situations and bad situations, but there is an underlying sense of stability and stillness within yourself, which gives you so much of peace, because you understand that this, see, yoga is a world of non-duality. And when you understand that deeply within yourself, there's a good and a bad to everything. So when people are unhappy, all they're looking at is the bad. And that is the training of the mind that they've always had. Nobody ever told them that हर चीज
Hmm.
का ऊपर भी होता है, नीचे भी होता है. योगा से आपको वो duality समझ में आ
Hmm.
जाती है. When there's a push, there's a pull. So if I say you do a back bend, it means apparently आप back bend कर रहे हैं, पर actually आप front को enlarge कर रहे हैं. Right? When you do a forward bend, it's
Okay.
about lengthening the back of your body. So a yoga practitioner who's adept, who's good, will always understand when there is an end of duality, then it is yoga. And that person can never really be unhappy. That is definitely true.
Beautiful. So there's one more which is related to like gender based myth, I would say, which is yoga is only for women's, not for men.
Oh, that's sad. When most of our gurus, I have learned Iyengar yoga initially, so I've done their intensive workshops in Rishikesh, and my guru was definitely a male. So I think that is a complete false statement. Yoga is meant for everyone.
So can you give us a piece of exercise which we can implement in our daily life? We can check ourselves and get to know a little bit like a teaser about yoga and meditation.
Okay, so I'll tell you an exercise which is not really an asan, but it denotes all asanas. It is the underlying philosophy of all asanas, and it is also a sattvic gun, which means that whenever, let's say, you're sitting or standing or moving or whatever you're doing, in every position of your body, can you sense that there's an upliftment quality rather than going down towards gravity? Can you sense a sense of lightness in you? Okay, so that is an exercise in awareness and awakening of all cells of your body. Usually, what happens is a person dumps his weight down on the ground. So, in fact, that is the first thing that I have to teach more all of my clients is that whatever asana you're doing, usme feel that you're a very tall person. Okay, rather than feeling that you're contracting your energy, lift yourself up. Let me tell you, Rahul, no one will help you to get uplifted, only you can. And you can carry this philosophy beyond the exercise and think of it as the mind also. Nobody will pull you up except yourself. So pull yourself up as an upliftment
True.
strategy for all poses or any situation in life. See, poses are denoting situations of life. And in every situation, can you breathe easy? Can you uplift yourself? Can you feel? Another sattvic gun is that of being illuminated. प्रकाश और लघु दोनों सात्विक गुण होते हैं. लघु माने lightness and प्रकाश मतलब uh, illumination, huh? So within yourself, so when you uplift yourself, you will realize the power of yourself, and the power is what is the illumination within yourself. So it's like the light in the bulb. So you are the light in this body, and when you're awake to yourself, then you have the prakash within yourselves. Yeah. So these are the exercises that
Yeah.
I tell that you can do, and it does not limit to one or two asanas. That will be very restrictive for me to say, well, ये आसन करो वो मत करो. ये हर आसन में करते हैं तो यही करो.
I agree. And there's one more myth which is related to women's personal health. And myth goes like women needs to skip yoga while they are on their period.
When a
Yeah.
woman
Yeah.
her period, what happens is the body will speak to them. They may or may not want to do asan practice. They can even skip, or they can. So now yoga is not limited to a set of exercises. Like I said, there are 84 lakh asanas. So your body will talk to you onto what asanas you can practice during those days. Definitely, inversions will be unfavorable because my teacher Geeta Iyengar, who's daughter of who was not anymore, she had written about this a whole lot, and she had mentioned about avoiding inversions at such time because the flow goes opposite. So one can practice that, and like I said, there are many asanas that you can still do during those times, and you can
Yeah.
practice and it doesn't have to be very yang or very dynamic or very active at that time if you don't feel like it. You can do more yin, more stillness oriented asanas at that time. Take your time on a particular
Hmm.
passive stretch, and you'll get those same benefits.
Got it, got it. How about pregnant women's? Can they perform?
Yes, of course, they can practice yoga, but I wouldn't advise that you do those major asanas that you have never done before. So, if you have already been practicing yoga before pregnancy, then you can continue with a lot of those asanas till much later in pregnancy. No constrictions of breath, of course, at such times. No, pulling in of the stomach too much. Of course, yet you can still do that. Again, with guidance, it will be nice. There are ways to even stop diastasis recti during pregnancy, which is the separation of the ab muscles, the transverse abdominis muscles. So, but don't practice something new in it, which you have never done before, because we don't know how the body will react at that time. We
True.
don't know how tender
True.
and how hypermobile the lower back can become during periods or during pregnancy. So we have to be careful. It's not just about flexibility, like I had mentioned, there's a lot of strength involved also in yoga. So if there's no engagement of muscles
Yeah.
and one just easing into flexibility, it can harm your joints also. So with a good your inner
Okay.
wisdom, like I said, अगर inner guru आपका बहुत इंस्टिंक्टिव हैं और स्ट्रक्चर के बाद ज़्यादा नहीं जा रहे हैं, तो then you can look at that, or the external teacher will tell you what to do.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Now let's talk about your book, Everywhere. That's the name of the book. So how much effort have been put by you, and what's what was the struggle you've been through to make this book possible? Talk about that.
So, Rahul, this book I had been writing for, say, more than 10 years. I used to write snippets of verses, whichever would come to my mind, in a lot of stillness and a lot of presence, and in a state of, say, just being. And then so this is a book which is about meditation. The body of the book is in verses, freestyle verses. You can say these are like poems, but they don't rhyme. But they are contemplative verses which will take you deeper within yourself. The introduction and the epilogue of the book has text, so it explains a little bit of my history, the experience that I've also had an astral body projection during meditation once, which means an out of body experience. I've written about that, and but I haven't dwelled upon it. It's one of the things that is there in the introduction, and so the book is called Everywhere. uh, the reason why I got into wellness is because I wanted to see God in everything and in everyone. And I felt that this is very, very true. And so, there's something which is always here. And yeah, it's very beautiful when you can sense that presence, and that's why I wrote this book, so to direct people towards peace. Peace is the biggest message for me to spread, and through the book I aim to spread the message of peace and the energy which is always here. It's never not here.
Makes sense
Um,
and totally
Also,
convincing because
I
yeah,
just
yeah,
wanted to add that I have put in a lot of artwork also in it, which means every verse has one artwork, which is also made by me. It's usually photographs which I have done artwork around. So it's like you can say a picture,
awesome.
a small coffee table book. And I have had clients send me, or not just clients, sorry, readers who have sent me pictures of the page that they have opened on a particular day, because you can read the book from anywhere, and how they have related to
Right.
that for that particular day, and it's really nice that people are able to connect to something which is deep. I've been accused of being very deep in my lectures, but that's the way I am. And so I feel that this book points to something which is deep, but something which everyone can relate to, but we all tend to live very superficial lives, so it just takes them on a standstill of there's no past or present or future. All there is depth, and if you can go deep within yourself, then you can find the truth in all of those words, and they make you go even deeper. There's no end to depth.
Beautiful. So one time we were having discussion and you mentioned one beautiful thing, which is our mind is mirror. So please enlighten us with your thought why you think why mind is mirror.
Sure, sure. So usually what happens is that when supposing there's a peaceful person in front of you, you become peaceful, or when there's an angry person in front of you, you become angry, which means the mind is pretty much mirroring what comes in front of you. And in Buddhism philosophy, there is we call that awareness, what I've called mind over here. And when we realize that it makes no difference to the mirror if there's an angry person or a peaceful person or a beautiful person or an ugly person standing in front of it. The mirror never changes. The mirror is just a mirror. So if we realize that within ourselves and realize that our awareness is always awareness, whether there is something nice that comes into your awareness or something bad that comes into your awareness, awareness in itself is just simply awareness. And to know yourself as simply awareness is pretty much what I meant when I said that mind is a mirror. It's your ticket to freedom, to liberation, to moksha, where you understand deeply that you're simply pure consciousness, and in that you could be conscious of something or not. That doesn't matter, because what you are is what you are. So you're never stained. You're never touched by anything that is happening.
Awesome. So that's what it is, guys. Thank you so much, Shalu, for joining us and sharing so many beautiful thoughts, so many beautiful learning and process. So thank you so much for sharing those, and hopefully we'll connect soon, and hopefully we'll share more about yoga and meditation in our next session with you.
Yes, yes, I had a lot of fun. It's my favorite subject, which I'm passionate about. And thank you so much for having me. I hope it helps somebody out there.